Long ago, so long now that it seems like a dream, there was a time when I was struggling for a promotion. Now, stock had been disappearing for about 2 weeks before I figured out my assistant manager's secret, why he and his crony Brian were stealing hamburger patties, and the sick shit that was going on right under my nose. See, when I first got to the store, I was a transfer, and Chris, the assistant manager, he loved me. I work harder than anybody else. When I'm in the kitchen, I'm doing my job, the floor manager's job, and telling everyone else to work harder on top of it. 10-1, fries, apple pies, I'm on it, making sure someone else is dropping nuggets. I'm always initiator. Even when my manager's on the floor, no one can do it like me. You know, I don't have a problem with one single employee, except for Brian, who's like Chris's cousin or something like that. Now, when I first got to the store, I was VIP. I could bring home food, come in late, but now, no more of that. Now, I thought the only reason that Chris didn't like me is because he was trying to promote Brian, and I was making Brian look bad, so I was making Chris look bad. But then, I found out about, what they were doing with the patties. Now, I don't know which one started, or how they were doing it, or why, or anything, really. It was about 3:30, and there were 9 crew members. Besides opening hour, between, 2 and 4 is pretty much the slowest time of the day. There are people in the drive-thru, but they're usually just ordering dollar menus, and the lobby's pretty empty. So I was in the kitchen. I got my headset on, watching orders, and it's me and Martha and Brian back there. Well, Brian disappears. Now, Martha, she's old as fuck. I could tell her to go faster, but she'd only do so much, and we're starting to get backed up on orders. So I yell, "Brian, where the fuck are you?" Now, sometimes he's in the back room, kissing ass to some manager, or locking himself in the freezer, pretending to be working, cutting boxes, jacking off, whatever, I don't care. So I leave Martha, and I yell for another coworker, Romeo, to take my spot, and I go look for him. Now, he's not in the back room, so I run over to the freezer. Now, the freezer, the lock on it doesn't work right. If you give it a good yank, it'll slip right open, so I didn't even bother checking his lock. I just ripped the door open. Now, the look on Chris and Brian's faces was priceless. Now, I imagine the look on my face must have been pretty priceless too, but I doubt they appreciated it. They were both on one knee with their pant legs rolled up, sitting there with frozen patties, pressing them right against their skin. And I just stood there with my mouth hanging open and watched as the frozen patties, they just melted and absorbed right into their flesh like globs of clay. So I turned around and left the freezer without saying a word. Now, I knew whatever was going on wasn't natural, and I was sure they were going to be pissed that I knew about it. It might even be dangerous. So I decided that I would have to be the first to act. So I stayed at my station, kept my eyes low until I saw Brian slip back to the freezer, this time by himself. So I groove on back there, I grab a grill scraper on my way and slip in behind him. Now, when I enter, Brian's reaching up for a box of regular beef. As I close the freezer door, he turns around, just a second too late. Now, after I clobber him, I find out that his body's soft, like patty meat. I couldn't even find any bones. Hell, he didn't even find real blood, just a bit of slowly coagulating burger grease. So I quartered him and stuffed his meat in empty 10-1 boxes and hid those behind other boxes to the back of the freezer. Chris kept eyeing me and getting pissed, asking people if they'd seen Brian, but I kept my cool, finished my shift. Towards the end of the day, I had Alberto keep an eye out while I hid the boxes and trash cans and snuck them off to my car. Now, I know that Chris will see it on the surveillance tapes, and I know that if he wanted to, he could try to frame me up for all the meat he and Brian stole, but after what I was going to do, he wouldn't have the balls. So I had to go to the store after that, get supplies, and then I spent the rest of the day and all that night cooking. The meat formed patties easy and cooked perfect. I ate until all I had left was a bloated, dissented stomach and 4 empty boxes. After Brian's disappearance, the promotion to shift leader was handed down to me, and no one's more deserving. As much as Chris hates to admit it, there's no one better than me. This Horrible Creep is released under Creative Commons license, attribution non-commercial, no derivative, which means that you can share it or copy it, but you can't change it, and you can't try to make a profit off of it.